Hello, everyone. This is Hollywood Junket. My name is Craig Ries, and if you've been following us, you know that we get to interview the eliminated contestants from the new show Deal or No Deal Island the very next day. The episode just premiered last night, and this one's a rough one because she was my favorite from day one. But we have Alyssa, who was just eliminated about halfway through the season. Alyssa, we'll get into this, but I thought you played a great game. I'm very excited to talk to you today. So thank you for joining us. And how did it feel to watch last night's episode?
The truth be told, I only watched halfway. Once we got to Temple, I was out. I was there myself. I experienced it myself. I truly am really protective over my energy and my space and what I allow into my space. So I did not watch that edit of how Temple went down. I was there, so I can speak on the experience myself without having seen how it was. But it was definitely not how I expected it to leave the game. It came as a huge shock to me. I really didn't see it coming.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure everyone has talked about it. It was rough. I don't really have that many questions about that particular part, though, so we're good. And I completely understand that and appreciate that and respect that, honestly. So, but like I said, Alyssa, you just stuck out to me from day one. I really wanted you to go all the way. I thought your gameplay was fun. I just thought you were also just awesome to watch on TV in general. So I'm sad it came to that end, but I still think you were very entertained. I think a lot of people liked you. So just take that with you as well, I would say.
I appreciate it. I really did have so much fun playing the game.
Good.
All considered, like I was honored to have been selected to be on the first ever season of Deal or No Deal
Yeah.
Island. I'd been interviewing for shows. I really wanted to be on Big Brother. I'm a huge Big Brother fan. As a matter of fact, that's pretty much the only reality show I've ever watched. And I'd interviewed for years, and I'm so glad that it never worked out so that this one could, because
Yeah.
so much fun. I seriously had the best time ever.
I love that. All right, let's get into this. In the last two episodes, during the excursions, you competed in teams of two. Did you like those pairings and does that affect game strategy at all?
So the last, let's go back to working with Nick. I was bummed because I wanted to be with Rob, and at that point, I was aware that there was another alliance
Mhm.
because what wasn't shown was my alliance with Dawson. I had an alliance with Dawson from
Oh.
day one, and it was never shown. And as the two queer contestants on the show, we had a goal to hopefully take an alliance to the final two and make history on Deal or No Deal Island. First season, have a queer final two, have a queer winner. So that was hugely important to me going into the show. Then I met Aron, and I was just like, had the best friendship and alliance with Aron. I loved spending time with Aron. And so I also had a final two deal with Aron. So I'm like, okay, either one of these final two deals working out is bueno for me. So we were good. So I knew what was going on the other side of camp because Dawson was telling me our strategy was let's go to opposite sides and we will protect each other on the opposite sides. When Rob was talking about Dawson, I was like, no, 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 but don't you think this? And when other people were talking about me, Dawson was like, no, I think Aron's a target. I think Rob's a target. So we were actually working together from the start of the show. And so I knew that alliance was existing. And I was bummed to not get paired with Rob because also I knew Rob needs immunity literally every single time. But what was also frustrating with that, I was like, Rob, bro, like I need immunity too. Clearly, this is all shifting in a funky way. So you're not the only person here who needs immunity. It's got a target. Um, so I was hoping to get paired with him because then we would have had immunity. But
Makes sense. Yeah.
what is crazy is I think had I gotten in the water first, I think I would have beat Rob in the swim out to get the highest case value. So we would have ended up with immunity had I gotten in the water first. But there was a moment of hesitation. Nick and I actually decided like I'll get in first, but then there was a moment of hesitation after the snakes really threw everything sideways. And I was like, I was scared. I pulled my quad during the competition before we got to the snakes. And I was afraid to swim. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be fast enough because I literally just pulled a muscle. And so I was like, let me stand here and let some, like, I don't know, calming energy come over me and then get in the water. But at the end of the day, it really didn't matter. As soon as I was in the water, I was like a torpedo. And I was like, I didn't know I could swim that fast. Um, But at the end of the day, Nick and I worked together great as a team. And I actually messaged him after that excursion. I was like, that was actually my favorite one. And we worked so well together. I was very happy to be paired with him when it came down to it. And he ended up finishing getting all the rods because once he started getting bit aggressively, I was like, hands out. I was like, I'm good. I'm so good. You can finish whatever rods you feel. I'm out. So yeah, but I was bummed to not be with Rob. I wanted to be with Rob. I definitely did not want to be with Aron. As soon as we like walked up there, I was like, oh no. Aron and Amy is like the only two I don't want to be with here because they're so short. And then for the excursion last night, the paddle boards with Jordan, I was stoked to be partnered with Jordan. I had not been partnered with Jordan up until this point, and Jordan and I were also in an alliance that is not shown. I feel like a lot of Jordan's gameplay is not really being highlighted, but she was working with several people. I was one of them, and we worked so well together. We had really great communication. We were fast as hell out there to get the little chest. Like we were at our chest and people were not even halfway down.
Yeah.
And to me, that excursion was so irritating because it was just pure chance and luck on what you pulled. It had nothing to do with your skill. Had it been skill based, I mean, I could have seen where the $4 million was, and we'd paddle out there and paddle back, and we would have been safe and would have been good.
Because you had the highest case.
We had the highest
out of all of them. Yeah.
Out of all of them, and we should have kept it. I would have had immunity. I wouldn't be sitting here.
No, you made the right call. I was sitting there thinking, like, what would I do? And I think you, especially because y'all were first, so you had time to go back, get another case.
Exactly. We were in and out so quickly that it was like, we can get back sooner than other people can get back with their first chest. So let's do it. Like the 4 million still out there. We knew either we need immunity or we need to be in the bottom two with the key.
Yeah.
And then we left, and then Stephanie and Amy got the key to open case. It's like, okay, well now we need immunity. Point blank period.
Do you think if you would have known the key was done, would you have gone back? That's a good question. No. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah.
Because at that point, I'm like, I don't know if this is high enough to keep us with immunity because we knew a $5 million case was in the golden chest. Yeah. We knew there was $4 million for immunity out in the water. And like the day before, it was a $3.5 million high value case. Right. So I'm thinking, okay, like, these cases are high, but they're not high enough.
And I agree. Yeah, totally.
So that was just testing decisiveness. That was the decision we made. We went back out. We were in quick, and we ended up taking like a more than $1 million hit. But yeah, it was a really.
You're right, but it's luck, and you can't even really overthink it. You know, like it is what it is. Going back to episode 3, that's kind of when real alliances started forming, and especially kind of maybe the heat between you and Stephanie kind of started. How were things before episode 3?
Episode 1 and 2 were pretty chill. To be honest, I don't really think any of us knew what the heck was going on or how to play the game. Like, I remember just thinking, okay, I don't want to play Deal or No Deal first, and I don't want to go home first. Like, those are just my two things coming into the game that are my goals. And then when Aron is like picked to play Deal or No Deal first, it wasn't shown until episode 2, but I actually, before he went and played Deal or No Deal in episode 1, I went and sat on the beach and talked to him. And I was like, just asking, like, are you okay? Because I would not want to be in your shoes right now. And I cannot imagine the stress you're under, and just like seeing who he was as a person, his energy, and he was just like really fragile and delicate, and we had just gotten into this game, you're thrown into this mud, and like all of this stuff went down, and I was just like, truly, are you okay?
Yeah.
And we sat and had a conversation that wasn't even about the game at all. So I was just glad not to be in his shoes that first day, or Branson's shoes. And then the second excursion, I ended up in the bottom 2 with Kim, but again, completely not on my merit. So the partnered excursions were a little frustrating because they were skill-based. It's like you have no control.
Yeah.
Because I could have probably shot the crossbow and at least hit a target. Who knows what target, but a target.
Yes.
But I didn't get that opportunity. And what's actually crazy is we were told about the personal offer flags at the top of the tree. I knew when I was paired with Kim, I was obviously going to be climbing because there was no way that Kim could climb the tree. And when I did, I brought it down. I told Kim immediately I got it when the excursion was over, and she was like, good. And then Joe asks, he's like, who, when we're all lined up, all the cases are all about to be open, he's like, who has a personal offer flag that they'd like to split with their partner?
Mm.
And some hands shot up, and I like kind of nudged Kim, and she whispered, don't you dare. And I was like, okay, girl. I didn't want to, but if she was going to make a big deal out of it, I would have shared it. But she literally said, don't you dare. And I was like, cool, we are good. I'm not raising my hand. But they didn't ask who has a personal offer. They asked who has a personal offer and wants to share it. Kim already had $10,000 that was handed to her in the first excursion. I'm like, I just busted my ass, climbed this whole tree, fell on my face before I even got to climb the tree, twisted my ankle, and ended up in the bottom two. So I'm keeping the 20K.
Yeah. And if she doesn't want to share it, awesome.
She didn't want to share. I was like, okay, great.
Down.
Awesome.
Well, I got one question left. Let's see if we can fit this in. Let's talk about Aron. I've loved y'all's relationship on this show. To finish up this question, I want to definitely know if y'all are still talking today and all that. But Aron had put you in the bottom two last week. I think that was obviously strategy and like and a gameplay, you know. But was that motivation to try to like get Rob to turn against him on this last episode? Like, kind of tell me what was going on there. Maybe there's something we didn't see too.
The thing is there's obviously a very clear divide in camp. So it's like me, Aron, and Rob for sure. It's been that way since day one. Jordan was kind of with us, but not, kind of floating around a little bit. Rob was obviously trying to get other people on his side in case one of us bit the dust like I did. And I mean, I was also trying to like gauge Rob. You saw me try to pull a Rob on Rob, and it literally didn't work. But I was like, I mean, at least I tried. Aron knew that I was going to go and try. So it was all like people who were going to say like, oh, you backstabbed him, you this, that, the other. I literally would have never backstabbed Aron. He's the only person there that I felt like 100% safe around, like emotionally. I would have never backstabbed him. He would have gone to the end with me, and I would have just been like, all right, may the best man win.
Yeah.
But I have a great relationship with both Rob and Aron outside the show. I talk to them every single day. I've literally asked Aron to be in my wedding. And I don't know, like when I think back on my time there, you're in a pressure cooker environment with a bunch of strangers and a lot of clashing personalities and people that you wouldn't necessarily ever cross paths with on the outside. And you just have to like keep your head above water. And that's just honestly what I was trying to do. A lot of any of like the negative commentary I made, that iconic two-faced eat your makeup line, that was actually the last thing I ever said on camera before we flew back to the United States. Like that was,
well, they're using it. They're using
everyone was off like sight. Everything was done, and I did say that, just like slipped out of my mouth. It's the last thing I ever said on camera, and then they like put it so far up in the season. But that's after I had experienced Temple. That's after a lot of these sound bits were from after everything, and they were thrown in beforehand. Some of them were not. I completely and like fully take responsibility for like things that I did say, because I was in there with people that were not really feeling safe for me emotionally, mentally, and I was in such a defensive, it was like fight or sink or swim, fight or flight. And I was doing everything that I could to keep me in the game for myself, for Aron. I knew that me leaving the game would be a huge hit to Aron specifically. I was not sure really where Aron and Rob were standing, because I did know that Aron told Rob what he said during the key competition. And that's when Rob figured out that Aron and I were really as tight as we were. And so I was like, me leaving the game, I know that this person has my back 100%. Him putting me in the bottom two, it's just like, he did his best with the tools he had, with the information he had, and the stress he was under. And I know he was trying to protect me. And I can't fault him for that. I think that definitely shifted my game. I think had he not done that, had he put probably like Nick and Dawson or Jordan Dawson or Jordan Nick in the bottom two, would have been like no focus on me. but that's just not how everything shaked out. And I told Aron, I'm like, dude, it's just a game. It is just a game. If I leave here with no money, it's no different than what I came here with. And I got to
Yeah.
have the experience, and I got to meet you, and I got to play this game with freaking Boston Rob, who I had no idea who this man was, but apparently he's an icon.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful for the experience, truly through and through. I wouldn't change anything about that experience because I needed to go through what I did. I needed to experience what I did and learn and grow and just evolve from it. But also, if I were to go on All Stars and do it again,
That's exactly what I'm
any
hoping
of that
for.
shit.
And you won a little money. So I think you
I did
did
win a little money. Yeah,
just fine.
that was nice. I
Alyssa, I
did.
got to wrap you up because I'm sure there's lots of other people that want to talk to you today, but I really, really appreciate your insights today. I love the alliance between you and Dawson. I really wish that could have played out. So
I
love
felt sad
that.
that went to fake TV, but yeah, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Guys, remember we've done interviews with all the eliminated contestants from this show, so you can like and subscribe our channel at Hollywood Junket to see all those interviews. But until next time, my name is Craig Ries. Have a great day.